Ballpark Beef fans, we are back for another one. We got a pretty good one for you today. We got a little bit of baseball talk. You know how we do with the baseball talk. We got a little bit of fantasy football talk. We got a little surprise coming for you, so stay tuned. Roll that music.
What's up, fans? What's up, Ballpark Beef fans? How we doing today? As Jimmy said, we have a surprise for you today. We'll go into it a little bit. We're going to do our team recaps, and then we'll just lay it all at once. All right, it's going to be a quick surprise. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a fun episode, so make sure to stick around. It was another good week. Good vibes I had this week. Good vibes. Things are going well. No complaints in life. So boys, how you doing? 'Cause I'm doing pretty good. Life's up from here, right?
Hey man, we're almost halfway through the year. It's going fast and things are just like you said, no complaints. My only complaint would have to be not seeing Jimmy as much, but he has a special 2 months coming in the next 2 months, obviously. But it's gonna be fun.
Hey, I'm in the lab. I'm cooking up a little something, something. So looking forward to it. Yeah, life's good. I mean, these are the best days of our life. How can you complain?
Yeah, I mean, dude, honestly, 2024 is our year, right? It's our year.
Oh yeah,
for sure our year. But let's get into our recaps. Nick, you got a lot for us this week?
Yeah, I mean, unless you want me to, turn the frown upside down. That was the wrong phrase. The smile upside down. The Cardinals suck. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Tigers, 2 out of 3 to the White Sox. Lost the first game to the Mets, but they are currently winning 3-0. It's a shitty start to St. Louis, as I expected. Nolan Arenado finally had a good week, and then everyone else said, hey, I'm going to shit the bed. They have, scored 6 runs as the most runs scored in a game in the last, week and a half. It's nothing really great going on in St. Louis.
I mean, we kind of expected it this year now. I don't think we didn't expect much from the Cardinals in terms of success.
Yeah, I mean, I expected them 500 at best.
I don't know if they're even going to touch that this year.
I mean, there's still 130 games left, but I don't think so either.
I'm not saying that it's not possible, but just the way the team has looked. I know, like we always talk about, there's momentum in baseball, but they have just looked like.
Yeah,
I think the A's are a better team than they are right now.
I thought they were going to get some momentum, winning 2 out of 3 from the Diamondbacks, 2 out of 3 from the Mets, and then next thing you know, they're 2-6 in the last 8 games.
Yeah.
So I mean, listen, it is what it is. They can't be a successful baseball team every single year. You can even ask Jimmy. You got to be with your team through the ups and downs because he knows a lot about the downs.
I mean, that's for sure.
I know a lot about the downs.
and that's a perfect roll into the New York Mets, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's give this a go. How do I sound, by the way?
You sound great.
You sound depressing about to talk about how bad the Mets are.
Sound great, dude.
Yeah, I mean, the Mets suck, man. It sucked too. Split against the Cubs, lost, got swept to the Rays, and won the first game against St. Louis the last 7. So, I mean, we're just like a mid-team, 500 ball. Brett Beatty's doing pretty good. Just trying to see. Francisco Lindor, Kelman around. Who else we got here? Pete Alonso is just in the worst slump of his career, I think. He is absolute dog right now. Hard to watch. McNeil, anemic at the plate as well. Not getting on base, not slugging. Who else we got? JD Martinez, yeah, kind of mid right now. He's 16 ABs in the last week. I think he's still hurt. To be honest with you, I think his back is still hurting him. So I think he got that injection during his spring training, but he's not doing great. Harrison Bader's been good. Tyrone Taylor's been good, but the Mets story is their bullpen is one of the best in baseball, which is kind of insane to think about. Their starting pitching is serviceable, but walks too many people, and the offense is hit or miss. You're a 500 ball club at best with that kind of a layout. So I know something's got to change, and hopefully brighter days are upcoming, especially in June once we start playing our easy schedule.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be an interesting year for the Mets. I think it could go 2 ways. I mean, any year can go 2 ways for the Mets, but I think it's either going to be a really fun year, like they're going to get out of this rut and it's going to be a really fun year, it's going to be really disappointing. Because like there's flashes where the Mets look like they have a capable rotation without Kodai Senga, which is very good. Their bullpen is lights out right now, and there's days where there's clutch hits and there's walk-offs, and Lindor looks like he's alive and not, dead. It's just like it's going to go either one of two ways. The Mets are going to be really bad or really good at the end of the year. I don't think there's any in between. I don't think you can say like they're a mid team. Like it's going to be good or bad at this point.
Yeah, they're not going to be a consistent 500. They're going to win 10 out of 14 and then lose 10 out of 14.
Yeah. So for Jimmy's sake, I'm hoping they're a good team. Again, they're one game under 500. We're only almost 40 games into the season, so it's there's still a shit ton to go.
I think if we can get out of May with a 500 record, we have a really good chance of being like 10 to 12 games over 500 at the end of the year. And if that's what it takes to make the playoffs, then we'll be in. If not, then we won't. The Phillies look disgusting. They're ahead of the Braves, and the Mets are cleanly in third place in that division and out of the playoffs right now. So, I mean, that's probably going to be the story of the season. Is we're going to be out of the playoffs until we're not, if we make it. But just a retooling kind of year.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you before we go into the Yankees, but are the Mets doing like a 50-50 with their catchers right now?
Well, Francisco Alvarez is hurt, so he's our clear number one catcher. Omar Narvaez can't throw a runner out to save his life, and Tomas Nido, neither of them are that good, to be honest with you. Like Francisco Alvarez is the clear number one catcher, and actually probably throw a runner out if he were to come back and be healthy, but it's kind of crazy how many steals the Mets are letting up at the catching position, and it's just, I mean, it is also the pitchers, right? Like our pitchers don't hold runners on, don't vary their looks, don't do anything different to try to change up the pace of the runner. So, I mean, Jonathan knows when I was pitching on the mound, I would do some crazy shit to second base when somebody was on second. I'd like take ever, I'd like quick pitch. So, that's how.
Yeah, I was just asking because it looks like I didn't know Alvarez was hurt, and him and Navarez have just about the same amount of games, and their differential in WAR is almost 1.
Francisco, yeah.
So yeah, Francisco only has a 0.3, but then Navarez has a negative 0.6.
He's been terrible, below replacement level.
I was just wondering if that's something they were exploring or if somebody was hurt.
Yep, Francisco Alvarez has been hurt for 2 weeks. He just got the stitches out from his injury, and he will be rehabbing that for the next 6 weeks or so.
We'll say, though, there's a lot better things in New York than there is in St. Louis.
I like that.
Yeah. Still going to lose the series, though.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the actual bright things in New York right now, right?
Let's just talk about a good team at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees are a good team. They are 10 games over 500 as of before this game. They should win this game. They're up 7-1. Not saying much, though, because supposedly the Astros have just fallen off the face of the earth this year. It's pretty bad, actually. The Yankees, 10 games over 500. We're 6-4 in our last 10. We're on a 3-game win streak. The Yankees look really good, man. Judge is finally coming along. He's 5 for his last 16 in his last 7 games. So it's really good to see. Finally, Judge is back. Rizzo's been looking very good. It's like Rizzo's having a resurgence right now. Soto, obviously good. Cabrera, good. Glaber, good. Volpe has been struggling. I don't know if the leadoff spot's for him, but that's not my decision. I'm not the manager of the New York Yankees, so fuck do I know. And then as far as pitching, I have no issues with our pitching. We have a very good pitching staff. Our bullpen's lights out. I think it might be just as good as the Mets. The Mets may be a little better. But in terms of playing in meaningful games, the Yankees have a better bullpen. And then our starting pitching's been holding up good, man. Cole threw 20 pitches from the mound today. So he's working his way back. I think his target date was the first week of June. So we'll see. 20 pitches is not a lot when you think about it, because that's 3 weeks away. So he needs to ramp up a lot more. So I'm assuming probably mid-June, maybe first week of July, and as an actual comeback date. That makes the most sense. It takes a while for a pitcher to ramp up. That's why there's spring training. And yeah, I mean, Luis Hill is young and he looks like a very dominant starter. I mean, he's pitching a one-run game right now. So he's exciting to watch. He throws above 97 most of the time and he's got electric stuff. Stroman's a very good starter. I mean, no complaints. Clark Schmidt looks very good. He's durable, good starter. Rodon, he's hit or miss, but average season. And then Cortez, average. Like everyone is no one is like shitting the bed completely, just as of our starters, which is very good. It's just gonna be
sorry, but they all pitched about 7 games this year, and they're all sub 3. I mean,
Yeah.
I would say that's a little bit more than good.
sub 4.
You know, yeah, whatever, same thing.
But
Very
it's
different.
very different. Sub 3 would be like, Jesus Christ, are they on drugs?
All right, sub 4. I mean, they're giving
They
the
got
Yankees a
spider
chance to
tack.
win almost every game.
Yeah. No, for
That's it.
sure.
That's it.
And the interesting thing is going to be when Cole comes back, who gets slotted out of the rotation? Because I don't want to see Luis Hill out of the rotation. His stuff's too good. I think he's better than Cortez at this point.
I know
He's-
it's Garrett Cole, but are you opposed to going to the 6-man?
I mean, it depends. It depends on how, like, because guys, all the guys have different. Like, if you're on a 5-game schedule, and to now say, okay, you're on a 6-game schedule mid-season, you can't do that. You can't do that to pros.
Yeah, live update for the Cardinals fans. Nimmo is hot. 3-3, baby.
3-3, Tater.
Tank. Second tank in 2 days, pal. Take that.
But yeah, besides that, sorry. But yeah, the Yankees are doing good. 10 games over 500. Obviously not as good as the Orioles right now. But
1 game back.
we're looking good, man. They took the series against us, so we're not better than them right now. That's how I view it. But yeah, Yankees are good, no complaints. So should we get into our surprise?
Yeah, it's about time.
All right. So we have an awesome surprise for you guys. This has been we did this once before, but we've been waiting for the right time to do it. So we have a special guest today, guys. It is someone who I know personally, and he's awesome dude. So Luke, welcome to the podcast.
Going on, fellas. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. So we're going to talk a little baseball with you, and then we'll get into some fantasy football. So tell us, what team do you like? Why do you like the team? You know, just little details about that.
Yeah. So I, unfortunately, am a Miami Marlins fan. A little background to that. I grew up going down to Miami to visit a lot of my Cuban family. Growing up as a kid, would catch a lot of games down there, you know, cheap tickets and all. I kind of just grew up loving the city, loving the stadium, kind of just loving the Marlins.
I like that. I don't know why you're not a Dolphins fan then.
Well, you know, I got brainwashed by pops in football, so I had no choice there.
But yeah, dude, it has to be tough to be a Marlins fan. I mean, the last time they were last year they were good, right? They made the wild card.
Yeah, you know, it
but
was fun last year.
But before that, it's been like, you know, I mean, you have 2 rings, just as much as the Mets do. But, you know, besides that, it's, you know, 1997, 2003, 2009. Those are your last good years, and it's just been a roller coaster kind of. I think it has a lot to do with your front office, right? It's been just a revolving door with that.
Front office is definitely struggling. You know, anytime we build a solid roster and it looks good on paper, just, you know, we miss the playoffs by a game or 2, and then, you know, we just sell. You know, I think year that Jose Fernandez passed, I know we've talked about it a little bit. You know, that was a special team. There was a lot of talent there. I mean, kind of just the outfield alone, Yelich, Zduna, Stanton. I mean, look what they're doing this year. Danny Hechavarria, D. Gordon, you know, Martin Prado was a sleeper back then. Justin Bohr, JT Realmuto. I mean, that was a pretty decent team. You know, missed the playoffs, and then kind of just everyone got sold, and you know, it's kind of the story that's happening again today. I just sold Luis Ariz, so more to come there.
Yeah, I think it sucks because the Marlins last year looked like a very young, promising team. The rotation looked good. like just all around really looked like okay, it's the Marlins are gonna be good this year. Sandy's hurt.
I was just gonna say, Luke, give us your opinion on Kim Ng. What do you think about that move to fire her? Yeah, but like it's kind of a disappointing year. Like Jonathan was just saying, Sandy's hurt. It seems like a fire sale's coming for the rest of the team. So if you didn't like Kim Ng, what would you do differently?
Well, I was actually a fan. They brought her in and she made, moves instantly, got rid of Donnie Baseball, which, I was a fan of, but brought in a new coach, new system, and we did build a good team. I do think right now the injury bug with our starting pitching has really taken a toll on this team. Yuri Perez, Sandy Alcantara, to the Tommy John, and Zardo's now going down. So I think the injury bug has really played a huge part in this year. And then obviously getting rid of her, it was a surprise. And it's clearly affecting, it's a downward spiral right now. So I'm not too sure which direction we need to go in office-wise, but something I think needs to change pretty quickly.
Yeah. I mean, the team's just full of young guys. I saw a report today that Jazz Chisholm might be
He's next in line to go
on the block. So it's, I'm sure Josh Bell will be moved at the deadline. He's a vet first baseman that can hit, switch hitter. He'll definitely be moved for some prospects. It's crazy, man. Like last year, you guys literally were a legitimate playoff team. So this year going in, you're like, okay, Yuri Perez is going to come up. He's a dog. You got Sandy, a Cy Young candidate almost every year. And, it's a good young lineup. And then, injury bug hits and Luis Ariz gets traded. And it's just like a repeat of, history's repeating itself, essentially. It sucks.
Just a little side note. When I was looking at the schedule to start the year, obviously very excited to see the team coming off the postseason berth. We started the year with Pittsburgh Pirates, who I guess started the year pretty well, but definitely a winnable series. The Angels, the Cardinals. So those 9-10 games that we started the year, obviously we go 1-9, pretty depleting. Those are teams that you can come out and beat and get a good start. And, I think as soon as we went 0-9, the players kind of didn't want to buy in anymore. And it's pretty bad down there right now. It's unfortunate.
Do you ever think of, do you like when the Marlins are this bad, do you just root for the Yankees sometimes?
Yes, I definitely do. It's tough not to root for the Yankees right now. Obviously, being from Jersey, being able to watch every. Well, I mean,
it's not tough.
I'm not gonna lie. Juan said it's kind of pretty exciting to watch.
All right. We don't need two Yankees fans, Luke. I mean, we're gonna have to cut this short, man. I don't know if we can handle this.
So these two. Nick is a Cardinals fan. I don't know how that happened. Besides Albert Pujols, and the other one's a Mets fan. So like, they're
other one.
Another one.
The whole point, Luke, if you haven't caught on, the whole point of this podcast is to shit on the Mets. That's essentially, we should just be called shit on the Mets rather than Ballpark Beef.
And just
now we start sprinkling in
the best team in the world.
Yeah, just
the Yankees
continue.
are the best team in the world.
Yeah, no, they're not.
Yes, they are, bro. The Yankees.
You just said the Orioles are better.
Yeah, the Orioles are better right now. Doesn't mean Garrett Cole's hurt. We don't have our ace.
Right for Luzardo.
Aaron Judge finally looking good. You're lucky he's coming around.
Aaron Judge is looking good. Like it's coming together. Cole will be back in a month and a half.
15 years later.
We're gonna be a fucking good team, man. We're gonna get some guys back. DJ's not even back yet. Even though he's a bum, DJ's coming back.
What's a better place when the Yankees are struggling? And I wish Josh Donaldson was still on this team so you could be ripping your freaking hair out there.
You liked me complaining last year?
Oh, I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
Josh Donaldson, man, I missed that.
Josh Johnson and fucking Aaron Hicks. Come on, guys.
Those are your two favorite players, right?
What a team.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, Luke, back to you. Sorry, we talk. They like to talk about the Yankees a lot. They must love the Yankees.
Nope.
So, since I alluded to it, if you get Luke's whole family is basically Cowboys fans. So Luke's a Cowboys fan. So
Who?
Luke is a Cowboys
Yeah.
fan.
I said, ew.
Okay. What are you thinking about the Cowboys for this year? Because I know a lot of people are saying they didn't do shit in free agency. They're a little meh on the draft. So what are your thoughts on the Cowboys offseason?
Oh man, Cowboy talk. All right,
A little Cowboy talk.
if you want it.
Well-
Well, to be fair, the Cowboys did do nothing in the offseason. I thought actually bringing Zeke back was okay. I think the running back room this year will be okay enough with a pass-heavy offense that we have. The draft was boring, but it was a good draft for us, in my opinion. A lot of O-line depth was added. A good defensive end, in my opinion, in the second round. So boring draft, but a good one for us. Overall, I think the Cowboys are kind of handcuffed right now with Dak Prescott's contract. Very excited to see him go next year. Hopefully that's the decision we make because we're going to have to pay CeeDee Lamb, obviously, before the year's end. And Micah Parsons' contract is going to be, it'll set the max at, his position. He can ask for a blank check because he's the real deal. So,
yeah.
I think this year we'll be in the Eagles' shadow in the NFC East. I think we'll be a wild card team, and first round, see ya. So
Seems like they're relying a lot on Dak Prescott.
great regular season player. The schedule's tough though. We have to play the AFC North this year, which is a juggernaut. And then we get the Niners in San Francisco again. We get Houston at home. We get Detroit at home. Philly, obviously, twice.
Still there?
A little technical difficulty right there.
Technical difficulty with Luke. But yeah, as he was talking about the Dallas Cowboys schedule, they have, a pretty tough schedule, actually. They got the Texans, Ravens, Bengals, Detroit, Browns, Niners. It's a tough schedule. And I agree that Dak Prescott does handcuff them. I just don't know what they do after Dak Prescott. Like, does Trey Lance learn under Dak Prescott, and is he the next guy? I mean, Trey Lance was drafted in the first round at one point. So I don't know. Luke, are you back yet?
And back. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. I was just talking about the Dak Prescott handcuff and kind of what would be the options next. Like, is Trey Lance the next guy? Or do you guys go and sign a vet or something?
It'd be nice to see what Trey Lance has. I mean, He was, highly recruited out of college, obviously. Only played a year or two at North Dakota State. And then, the game and a half, 2 games at San Francisco. Just the thing people say about him, he just doesn't have a lot of game reps. And that's the big question. Is he, able to step on the field if we give him a chance year one as a Dallas Cowboy quarterback and produce? Because there'll be a short leash there, if we do decide to go that route. I personally don't think we should go that route. I think we should, test the free agency market because there's just way too much talent on that team. Offensively, I think, you've got rebuilt offensive line. You've got a veteran in Zach Martin, who's one of the best at his position. CeeDee Lamb's, a top 5 receiver. There's just too many weapons. So I think you got to test the free agency market and kind of stick with the win now mentality and get a guy who, can try and win us some games.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel that. I feel like the Cowboys are the Yankees of the NFL. Like,
I 100% agree.
Right? Like,
Sure.
Jimmy, stop shaking your head, bro. It's the same kind of thing. Like, who's globally in the NFL? What is the biggest franchise?
This narrative is tired.
I mean, I think the Cowboys can also be seen as the Dodgers
Why?
because they do the same thing the Yankees do. They don't win in the playoffs. Not everything is self-centered around your Yankees, all right?
I'm just saying they're the Yankees of the NFL. Are they not? Every person you know. Why are people Cowboys fans that live in fucking Jersey?
I don't know.
The Cowboys are hot garbage. Trash.
You're a Giants fan. Daniel Jones is your quarterback.
They can't win in the playoffs. They can't win.
Yeah, well, I don't know what that's Luke's team. I don't know what to tell you.
The Giants win playoff games when they get in. That's the if. If they get in, they win playoff games. Did you guys see the roast of Tom Brady? He couldn't even say anything about Eli Manning because Eli Manning owns him. That's his father.
It's a 3-hour thing. You know that?
What, the roast?
The roast
Yeah,
is
it's
fucking 3
super
hours
long.
long.
Yeah, I gotta
I
watch
watched
that.
it. I know.
You watched the whole thing?
Yeah, I watched the first half before I fell asleep, and then I watched the second half yesterday. It was fire. I said
Was it
so good.
so good? I gotta watch it.
Nikki, I don't know who is the comedian Nikki Glaser. She is freaking hilarious.
I don't know who that is.
You'll see. She's like the whole roast is just fire. And at the end, Tom Brady had like jokes for everybody. He was ripping into everyone, right? Like you know how roasts go. Couldn't say shit about Eli Manning. He said "fuck you" and the Giants. That's all he said.
Yeah. Damn.
Like that's all he could say.
Yeah. I mean, there ain't much you
Anyway.
could say.
Back to the Cowgirls. Can't win in the playoffs.
That's crazy. Luke, you gonna take this hate, man?
I mean, listen, I'm a very realistic fan. I know what to expect when it comes to the playoffs. It's a very upsetting situation.
Is it a Cowboys thing or a Dak Prescott thing?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, if you just
Tony
look
Romo
back
couldn't win either.
you look back at last year, I mean, the defense who created turnovers all year, held their own all year. I mean, got absolutely embarrassed by a young quarterback making his first playoff appearance.
Yeah.
And then Dak throws a couple picks, and then, but the year before against the Niners, Dak throws 2 horrendous picks, and we hold the Niners to 16 points, but only put up 9 or 10, whatever we did. So, I mean, it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah. No, for sure. So let's roll into fantasy football, guys. Our My Dynasty League draft is this week. Luke's was this Saturday, but it's still going. We're still only in the second round. The first pick in the second round was just made.
Did you start that a week ago? Or
Saturday.
Said he wins the race.
Saturday. Who's on the clock?
Oh, we just got a pick. Markham's
Yeah.
Oh, the pick is in.
Markham's on the clock. But yeah, so our drafts this week, I'm super excited. I always love a rookie draft. This is going to be Nick and Jimmy's first rookie draft. Me and Luke have done a few already. So
I'm either gonna get an A+ or an F.
basically, Nick has the most picks, but Luke has the second most picks. So you guys should have a lot to talk about here because Luke has the 102, the 109, and 110. Nick has the 103, the 105, 106, and 112. So I kind of want to, like you guys own half the draft.
God.
So you guys are
Fourth.
the 2 most important people in this draft. So I kind of want to like just pick your brains at what like positions you're looking at. If there's any player that you're high on, you don't have to give up too much. I know we're still in competition, but Luke, you can start us off.
Show your cards. Come on.
Let me know what you're thinking. I think I have an idea. 102 is probably a lock, but like, what are you looking for in this draft? So
yeah. So obviously, I'm gonna need to grab a quarterback too. I got Trevor Lawrence, who's solid, young, but Russell Wilson's not really cutting it at the wide receiver quarterback too. So I'll be taking, the best available quarterback for my first pick, and then from then on, I'm gonna have to build some depth at the receiver position. Amari Cooper, very injury prone. Deebo Samuel in a weird situation. T. Higgins talking about getting traded. So I'd like some solidarity at the receiver position. And there's a lot of good running backs, sleeper running backs to go after in the middle, late rounds here. Second, third round probably in this draft. But I'll sleep on my boy Will Shipley from Clemson on the Eagles. Saquon goes down. I'm telling you.
But yeah, so do you kind of have an idea who you're looking at like later on, like 1-9, 110, or you're kind of just best available?
I am very high on, I know he fell in the draft, but I'm pretty high on Adonai Mitchell, Colts receiver from Texas.
Gotcha.
I think he's in a good position with a good young quarterback. I think they can build a good relationship in camp. He's going to get plenty of reps. I think he's going to be the other outside receiver over there. Thought he was really good at Texas, so I'm really high on him. And then Keon Coleman as well. I think it's wide open in Buffalo, and I got to watch a lot of Florida State last year, being an ACC guy, and he's pretty talented. Big receiver, can go up and get, balls. And Josh Allen, he loves the scramble drill, and definitely see him scrambling, throwing the ball up to him, and him making some plays. So those are the two, guys that I'm probably going to try and target 9-10 if Nick doesn't take him from me now, but we'll see.
Yeah, no.
Unfortunately,
Appreciate
my
it.
plan is pretty set for the 3, 5, and 6, so you don't got to worry about me.
So Nick, since he just kind of gave up his whole idea here, we're gonna need you to show some face here. So,
I don't need to do that.
well, I mean, you're ahead of us. So, I mean, come on, Luke's ahead of us. You're ahead of us. So it literally means nothing to tell us. But 103 is a lock at quarterback. Whoever the quarterback is, you're still not telling us. I don't know if you made your mind up. But at the 103, have you made your mind up on who it is? You don't have to say who it is if you don't want to. I
I
understand.
honestly haven't looked at any of it yet.
Okay, great.
Oh my god.
I could tell you that it's definitely a quarterback. 5 and 6, it's depending on which quarterback I really want that's there.
Okay.
The other one's going to be a wide receiver,
Mm-hmm.
most likely, and then 12, it's kind of best available option.
Okay.
I'm hoping to get like a tier 2 wide receiver or a good running back
Mm-hmm.
there, and then then I have the 203 and the 303. I mean, I'm hoping that I could get some people to talk about what the value is for some players and see if maybe I can move some picks. But right now I'm really next couple days I'm just looking at 103 and 105, which quarterback is looking in my favor.
Now, is there any guys you're like high on, kind of like Luke had, A.D. Mitchell and Keon Coleman? Is there any guys you're hoping fall to at the 112, or is that a secret too?
I mean, yeah, me and Jimmy talked about it outside the podcast. It'd be nice if Brooks were to fall to me at 12. Other than that, I'm not really too concerned about the draft picks. I'm actually more concerned about the players I got off my taxi squad last year, since they're going to be first year running backs.
Mhm.
I believe it's Chase Brown and Keaton Mitchell coming off an injury. I think those are two solid players, assuming they could do well. Chase Brown's going to be the running back 1, I believe, in Cincy. And I think Keaton Mitchell is going to take Gus Edwards' spot in Baltimore.
Those are high hopes, Pop. Those are really high hopes. So you're saying right now your two starting running backs are going to be Chase Brown and Keaton Mitchell
I'm
as
not
of right
saying
now.
those starters, but those are my young ones that are
Okay.
actual like running back 1s.
Okay.
Because
I mean, hey, teach his own.
It's just what it is. I mean, look, they don't have to be full known players out of college, because we all know Brock Purdy wasn't.
That's a fair point.
And quarterback's the hardest position, and look how he shined. So, you could look at last year. Quentin Johnston was drafted 3rd overall, and he was like one of the worst rookie wide receivers after this last year. So
Yeah.
I know it's all about names out of college, but not everyone who's a top star in college performs how they should.
So does this mean you have a sleeper pick, like an under the radar guy?
I mean, and it could. That's going to be a determination from you two after I draft.
No, I mean, like, is there a guy who like we have no idea about that you're like, oh, this guy's going to be good, but it's like a later round pick?
oh no,
Okay, all right. So
no.
Nick knows 6 names. Nick knows 6 names in this draft, and they're
I
all
know
in play
7,
for him.
8.
That's all he knows.
I know 8.
And he never heard of Keaton. He never heard of Keon Coleman. He's never heard of AD. He's never heard of anybody other. That was
Listen, if
just
we're going to
named.
be realistic, I haven't even heard half of my NFL team that's already on my team. I mean, last year was my first or second NFL draft. I mean, I just got into it, so don't expect me, to know every single player coming out of college. I barely know half the people in the NFL.
I'm kind of making fun of Jonathan for asking you more and more questions. So I knew the answers to all of those.
It's like, do I know the 20-year-old coming out of college? No, I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow.
okay, wow, Jimmy, you're still best available, right?
There's 7 people in this draft that are good. They're gonna go picks 1 through 7. I'm gonna take the
Okay.
7th person. That's as simple as it gets.
All right, so I've set my mind on who I'm taking at 104.
Okay, I know who. I basically know the draft. I know the whole first round.
Okay, let's do a first round mock draft and decide and talk about it. All right,
Final mock draft featuring Luke.
featuring Luke.
You're gonna start us off. I think you can guess picks 1 through 5 pretty easily. We're gonna give you the floor.
So Luke,
Assuming that
before
you're
we do
still
this,
here.
if you want, when your pick comes, you do not have to say who you're picking if you don't want to.
I think he
Uh,
doesn't care.
Yeah,
it's up
I mean,
to him. I mean, I'm just letting him know.
I appreciate that.
We had that option last week, so I'm going to give him this week.
Okay, go
This guy
ahead,
Jonathan is just trying to get
Alright.
everyone's information today before the draft even starts.
Luke. Why don't you do
Final-
1 through 7?
Final mock draft for Luke, and we're gonna say agree or disagree. That's all us three are gonna say, and you don't have to comment on your pick.
Okay, fine.
All right, fair
Luke,
enough.
Lead the show.
Lead the show, Luke. You got
One's going to be Caleb.
agree.
2 is going to be Marv.
Oh,
No,
disagree.
wait.
I disagree
One
already.
is disagree. I disagree with one.
I agree.
Luke, I talked to him today.
Oh, you're saying how I think it's good. I thought you were just saying my top 7, how I would play it.
No,
No,
No.
how you think it's going to go?
No.
this
Yeah.
draft that we're in.
I got
Yeah,
I
like
got
this board. Yeah.
Okay, so 1 is that actually going to be Marv. 2 is
Agree.
going to be Caleb.
Agree.
3 is going to be Jaden Daniels. 4 is
Disagree.
going to be Wags. I don't even know what you need. Let's go neighbors with 4,
Agree.
and then 5 Dunze, 6 Rake May, 7 McCarthy.
I have those flipped.
Okay.
If that's how the quarterbacks fall, I have 5 and 6 flipped. I think Nick will go quarterback first. Not that it matters, but
Yeah, I mean it doesn't matter.
literally doesn't
All right.
matter.
8 through 12. You want me to do it, and then we'll disagree, not disagree.
Sure.
All right. 8, Bo Nix.
Agree.
I agree.
He needs a quarterback. He's going Bo Nix. Luke at 109. He's probably taking either. I mean, Bowers falling to him is crazy at the 108. At 109, he has back to back. So I'm gonna say he goes either Bowers and Worthy or Keon Coleman and Worthy. He goes 1 or 2, but I'm gonna stick with Bowers and Worthy. I like Bowers and Worthy. You don't have to
Okay,
say
I'm
disagree or
thinking-
agree, Luke.
I'm thinking Worthy's in there. I'm thinking he goes Coleman based on his comments. I also like Keon Coleman, Luke, so that's a pretty good pick.
I don't think he goes Bowers there.
I think
Yeah, Bowers. Bowers fall.
I think Bowers is in an interesting position just in general.
You think he falls?
I didn't love the pick by the Raiders, and kind of having a hard time evaluating him in these drafts, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, they just took Max Mayer. Is it Max Mayer?
Yeah, who played
Yeah.
well?
Michael
last year.
Mayer. Yeah, and they're. I mean, are they going to run 2 tight end sets like the Patriots did with Gone Forever Aaron Hernandez and Gronkowski? That'd be interesting.
I don't even have a quarterback, so
I mean, Aiden O'Connell, man, that's my backup QB as of right now. But all right, so Luke's gonna probably take 2 wide receivers. I'm gonna say Worthy and Keon Coleman. 111 is Joe Sapia. I think he takes either Brian Thomas or Ladd, and I think Jonathan Brooks falls into Nick's hands at 112. That would be the final mock. So we have Marv, Caleb, JD, Neighbors,
Rome.
May, Rome, JJ, Nix, Luke. I'm going to say Worthy and Keon Coleman. Joe is going to take either B-Tom or Ladd, and then Nick takes Brooks. That's my mock right there.
Which means that Bowers falls. The second round. I would not have predicted that. Sorry, Nick.
I was going to say, if that's hypothetically correct, how quick does Bowers go in the second round?
Oh, he goes 201 to Jack. Jack eats that up. He's like, bro, that's prime value. That's how Jack would say it. Right, Luke? Am I wrong, Luke?
100%. 100%.
That would be
Well, he's
crazy.
gonna be happier. He's gonna be happier than a pig in shit when he falls to him.
I'm gonna be honest. The second round's gonna have a lot of talent. Like people are gonna be trying to trade into the second round. There's gonna be a lot of talent because with this being such a QB heavy league, a lot of skill position players get pushed back to the second round. It's gonna be pickings in the second round. Like you have Jalen Polk. I think he's gonna be decent. Blake Corum, A.D. Mitchell, Leggett, Ricky Pearsall. Like, there's going to be a good guys down there. Jalen Wright from the Dolphins, Malachi Corley could be wide receiver 2 next to Garrett Wilson. So it's going to be interesting, very interesting. Michael Penix, when is Michael Penix going to go? Like, who's gonna bite that ball and take him and let him sit on? Like in our league, he can only sit on a taxi squad for a year. So who's going to do that? You know,
Who
It's gonna be
knows? Maybe
interesting.
you do that at 312.
He's not going to be there.
You never know.
That's an interesting name to bring up because I kind of forgot about Penix because
Yeah.
being a backup.
Yeah. I mean, and who knows how long he's a backup for? Like Kirk's on a new 4-year deal. Yeah, he's 35 years old coming off a Achilles, which is a tough injury. But it's interesting, man. It's crazy to think that Brock Bowers is going to fall to the second round. Unless someone shocks us, like Joe
Which team is Joe's?
Sapia.
No, but like kind of talking to myself.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I can see him taking him there. His Taysom Hill is his tight end.
No, he has Greg Dulcich.
Okay, but him and Dulcich, that's it.
Taysom Hill's not on his team. Is he?
Yeah, he has him in the
Yeah,
starting lineup right now.
I traded him last year to him.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it seems like he doesn't really have, I mean, Dulcich is okay, but I can see him going Bowers there.
100%.
We'll see. We will see. I mean, listen, there's a lot of talent in this draft. There's a few sleepers I got, and we'll see if they pan out. Third round is where you put your eggs in a basket and hope it works out.
Got 2 of them things in the third round.
But listen, phone lines are open, so if anyone wants to trade, let me know. Nick, I assume you don't want a Kyron anymore, so I'm not even going to talk to you about it.
I mean, I never gave you an answer, but don't plan on making any trades until the day of.
Okay, so we'll talk the day of.
I'm just leaving it there just to see my options with everyone else.
But yeah, we'll when it gets closer, we'll talk. But Luke, got anything else to say, man? We appreciate you coming through.
I really appreciate being on. It was a lot of fun,
Yeah.
fellas.
Of course. Glad to have you. And maybe one day down the line, you could come back and maybe you'll be a Yankees fan by then, right? Who knows?
I'm not
Hey,
invited then.
Paint dry.
You're not allowed.
But listen, guys, thank you for listening. We will catch you next week. We'll go over the draft and more baseball stuff. So appreciate y'all. We drop every Wednesday at 5:00. Make sure to check us out. Everyone have a lovely, lovely Wednesday evening and peace out.